Hey y'all, welcome back to Hooked on Brooklyn. If you don't know by now, I'm Brooklyn. And today I'm here with a story time for you all. Before I get into it, I just want to quickly say I'm sorry for my little random hiatus. Your girl was going through some stuff. She was sick, mental health. We had to get it together. But we're back and we're better. For today's story time, I want to let you know I had to rack my brain and go back like 10, 15 years to pull together the details of this story. I had to write notes. If you see me looking around, looking down, looking at my iPad, all my notes are there so we can stay on track and stay focused because this story time is crazy. There's a lot of details to it. And I feel like in order for you guys to like really get the gist of this person, you've got to know everything that I can tell you about it. Okay? Okay. So let's lock in. Let's get our snacks, get our water, let's get our Twizzlers, whatever you like. Sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Okay? So this story is about my best friend going to prison for murder. Dun, 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 dun. No, for real. Like, for real. Orange jumpsuit, behind bars, mugshot, everything. And I never thought I would tell this story, like, especially on the internet, but I'm like, you know what? It's a pretty interesting, I feel like, interesting story. And I feel like my life is literally a movie. Like, the things I've lived through, the things I've gone through, experienced, seen, been a part of, I think I could write a full script about everything. It's just truly crazy. And knowing someone, being close with someone who committed such a horrific crime is absolutely insane. And I know that people who know this individual will say that they saw it coming. And I can't necessarily say that I didn't see it coming, but I like to live in the land of delusion. And I also am someone who puts a lot of effort and a lot of love into people. And I'll excuse a lot of things when maybe I shouldn't. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Just to set the tone, we're going to talk about how we met and everything from the very beginning. So, for the purposes of this story, I'm going to be telling my own personal experiences, my personal account of what I went through with this person. And then also, any information I talk about is publicly available online. So, I'm not going to say anything that's going to get me in trouble. And, none of that. I also want to make sure that I am very clearly, respectful to the victim in this situation, and their family. So I'm not going to go too far into detail on some things. But again, whatever I do speak about will be information that is publicly available online. Although I will be referring to her as a different name, what you find and what you Google is your business. Okay. Okay. So, how we met. I met this girl. We're going to call her Tiffany in this story here. I met her on Facebook. I was way too young to be on Facebook, as was she. But back then, Facebook was jumping. All of us were on Facebook. We had no business being there. I was on MySpace for a little bit, but I was a little too young. I was a little too young. For those that don't know, you know, I'm 26 years old, so you know what time Facebook and MySpace was going on back then, right? Okay. Anyhow, I was in the 6th grade and she was in the 5th grade. She and I are born only 1 month apart, but in the school system that we in our hometown, I'm not sure if it's like this for other states or just our state, but if you're born after a certain cutoff date, you have to wait a whole year to go to school. So because of that, we were always 1 grade apart, even though we were the same age. So with that being said, I can't remember if she sent me a friend request or if I sent her one. All I know is back then I was a little bit Facebook famous. Nobody knows who I am anymore. I'm not even sure if they really knew who I was back then, but like it was a thing to have like 5,000 Facebook friends, like, everyone liking your pictures, like my status. Truth is, like all that was like going on at this time period. And again, I was in the 6th grade. So in my free time, I was always on Facebook posting horribly edited selfies. I wish I could remember what selfie program we used to use. It was like built into Facebook, I think, or like something. I had like an iPod Touch, editing photos, horrible quality, all of that. But I want to say it was she who had sent me a friend request. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, she and I became friends on Facebook, and the thing to do was to chat through like little Facebook chat. Um, and so she and I would talk every single day. We had like an instant connection. Like we were into the same kind of music, the same kind of art styles, the same kind of like the way we would dress. We were into the same kinds of things. And so it was a no-brainer for us to become friends. And I didn't meet her in person actually until a few years later, but you would think that like we were just sisters. Um, Everybody knew we were friends. And the interesting part is if you know me now, you'd be surprised by my behavior as a child, but I was not such a good child in middle school. I was troubled. And so unfortunately, I the school that I was going to for middle school, she was supposed to come in when she was going to begin middle school the next year. Well, I got kind of kicked out of that school for fighting and bad grades and all types of things like that. And so I had to go to a whole different school. So we actually didn't even get the chance to actually ever go to school together. But that didn't stop our friendship from flourishing. It was it was what it was. But everyone knew that she and I were friends because we posted together so often on Facebook. Back then, it was like a thing to marry your friends on Facebook. So she and I were married on Facebook. And so she knew a lot of the same people I knew because she ended up going to my middle school that I was at previously. So everyone kind of knew. They saw me, they knew her. Um, and I don't know, it was just like, at first, it was a great friendship, but it turned toxic very fast because she was an interesting person. She was the princess type. She knew how to get exactly what she wanted. She could essentially make people do whatever she wanted them to do. She was pretty. She was short. All the things that people like about people. She was that, and I don't know. She was also a bully. She bullied a lot of people. She said a lot of things um online about people, including me. She and I would get into lots of fights. She would post things on Facebook, statuses that were like, I can't even remember what they said, but just like really mean things to say about people you supposedly care about. And I was somehow enamored with this girl. Like I loved her. I No matter what we went through, no matter what horrible things she said to me, I still was her friend. Completely was her friend. Now, I do want to preface to say I'm sorry to my mom. I always say I'm always talking to my mom in every video. She watches my stuff, guys. She's my supporter. I love her. But I want to say I'm sorry for the details I'm about to reveal in this story time that you may not have known when I was a child, but I'm grown now. And we can look past it. We can look past it. Okay? Okay. Okay, so fast forward to 7th grade, I started grappling with sexuality. I wasn't sure if I liked boys, if I liked girls, if I liked both. It was a confusing time for sure, and I think that's probably the general consensus. Guys, I really can't talk. Please don't leave my video. I will get the words together. But I think that was the general experience for most young teen tweens, right? Trying to figure out what you like, who you like, what you like. There's hormones that we start experiencing, all of that. And Tiffany was already out as bisexual. So for me, I was like, okay, like, you know, I could probably be bisexual too. So I ended up becoming no less than infatuated with this girl. So it became a cat and mouse game almost because she loved the chase. She loved the chase and she had many people who were after her. And it was really interesting to watch this girl be lusted after by so many people as our friendship progressed. And then me one day becoming one of those people who also wanted her. And it's just it's a strange thing. It's a strange thing. And so there were multiple times that she would tell me things to kind of get me wrapped around her finger. And she did it with everybody. She did it with everyone. She knew what to say. She knew how to say it. She knew how to make you feel like you were the most important person in the world. She just knew. And I fell for it every time. Even after we'd have like these huge fights, we'd argue with each other, we'd stop being friends. She knew what to say to apologize. She knew what to she'd post things on social media like, "Oh, I really miss Brooke and she was the best friend I ever had." And part of me would fall for that every time because I had some complicated feelings I was addressing about her, and two, she was my best friend. She was like the closest friend I ever had in the world. So, and mind you, I hadn't even met her in person. This is all happening over the internet online. We Skyped. Back then we did not have we didn't have FaceTime. I mean, FaceTime existed, but we didn't have iPhones. We had like Samsung Galaxy S3s and things like that. I don't even know if I had a Samsung Galaxy at that point. I may have had some kind of whatever my mama got me from Boost Mobile or whatever we had. I don't even think I had that cool of a phone. We were Skyping from our laptops, but you know, it was a strange time. Now, I at that time, even though I had feelings for her, she never really tried to like be in a relationship with me, and I didn't either. Like she dated people, I dated people, we had like these little like unserious relationships in middle school. Like I was too afraid to even hold someone's hand. I distinctly remember being in a relationship with someone and one of my friends telling me after lunch to give the boy a hug before I went to class. And I remember saying to him, "It's too soon." It's too soon for a hug. And I just ran to class. I remember that. So when I say relationships on my end, take them lightly. Now, Miss Homegirl, Miss Tiffany, she was probably doing way more than I was, but I was a goody two shoes. I was scared of everything, and I thought that you could get pregnant by just holding hands with the boy. Like I was, so, I was so not there in seventh grade. Whatever. But Miss Tiffany, she was out there. She was out there, and she was beautiful, and she knew she was. And she knew she could get absolutely anything she wanted. So she had a boyfriend. And, in middle school, relationships that last months are like, you guys are going to be together forever. Like long term is like, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That's like serious business when you're that young. And so she had a long term boyfriend who I didn't know anything about. He was actually 2 grades ahead of her and 1 grade ahead of me. Um, so fast forward, I'm now in 8th grade and she's now in 7th grade. So she's been in my old school now for over a year and she's got this long term boyfriend. And me being a girl's girl, me supporting her, me being her bestie, despite how toxic we were, I supported whatever she did, even if it were things I didn't agree with or things that weren't morally correct. I'm not going to tell her how to live her life. So Miss Tiffany was cheating on her boyfriend with another guy and she had feelings for both of them. She was playing them both. She knew how to play somebody like a fiddle, and she did it well. And while I never distinctly told her that she was wrong for that, I just was like, "You know what, girl? Do what you're gonna do. I support you. Whatever." And I felt really bad for her long-term boyfriend because, it's not it's not fun to be cheated on, and it's not fair. But I didn't go to their school. They all went to the same school. And so there was truly like nothing I could really do except for let her live her life. And I was not friends with her long-term boyfriend. He was not my friend on social media, and I didn't feel like it was my place to overstep to tell him that. And I am a huge believer in what's done in the dark will come to the light, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened for her. So, I remember this day very clearly. I can't remember exactly which day it was, but I just remember the insanity and how gullible we all were as kids. But it came out somehow, some way that she was cheating. And, I was texting her about it. I was like, it's okay. Like, it it had to come out, unfortunately, these things catch up with you. So Miss Girl, I'm gonna keep calling her Miss Girl, Miss Tiffany, she decided to run away. She ran away. And she was gone for hours, like hours and hours and hours. I'm texting her phone, like, where are you? Oh my goodness. Like, she was a drama queen. And I'm not hating because I was a drama queen as well. I definitely did a lot of dramatic stuff as a child, but she was dramatic. And so I was panicking because, like, where are you going? Why are you running away? And she was, making threats of unaliving herself because this huge secret had come out, and, you know, just dumb kid stuff. And so I remember I got a message on Facebook from her long-term boyfriend, and he had said something along the lines of like, "Hey, have you heard from Tiffany? Um, she ran away. I'm really worried about her. I found out that she was cheating on me." And, I said to him, like, "Yeah, I don't know where she is. I've been trying to reach her. Um, I'm not sure like where she is." And I apologize. Like, "I'm so sorry. Like, nobody deserves to be cheated on. Sorry you're going through that." Whatever. And I don't know how long in between that conversation I received this message, but I got a text from a fake, like, text free number that was Tiffany's mom saying, "Tiffany ran away. And, if you guys know anything about her, please let me know." All that. And, like, when you get a message from somebody's mom, you're like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is crazy." I would like we were so gullible. It was her the whole time. It was her the whole time. But, like, we were just truly, truly so gullible. So as the night goes on, I'm receiving like cryptic messages from her and from her mom, and I'm in communication with her long-term boyfriend who's up in limbo about whether or not he wants to forgive her for the cheating. And we both should have known better that this girl was capable of lying to us because she was lying and cheating for months. We should have known that her mom probably would not be texting us asking us where she's at. And she was at home the whole time. This girl did not run away. She did not run away. I just don't believe she did. She wanted to gain sympathy votes, and she did. She was successful. Um, but it. I wish I could say that was the craziest thing that happened, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the tip of the iceberg. So that's it for part one. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background detail on me meeting this girl, how our friendship was, and we're going to get into the meat and potatoes in part two. So go ahead, head over there, and I will see you guys there. Bye.